Welcome on in, guys. The Fairway Files, yet again, presented by Three Bold Takes. I'm joined by Bradley and Jacob here. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the LIV and the PGA Tour announced that they will be merging. So we're finally going to discuss that. The news dropped last week. For those of you that live under a rock, I'll give you a quick synopsis of what's going on here. The PGA Tour, LIV, and the DP World Tour, which is also known as the European Tour, are all deciding to merge, right? That's the three largest golf leagues in the entire world will be merging together, and financially will be backed by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. Very interesting there. And it will be a new LLC, which is different from the PGA Tour, as they are a nonprofit 501c3. They can finally make money there. So that's kind of where we're at right now. They have decided to merge with, now here's the caveat, and I want to mention this just right off the top. There are some fine details in here that we don't know, that haven't been released yet. But one of the things we do know is that for LIV golfers to come back to the PGA Tour to be reinstated, rumor has it there will be a significant fine or penalty that they will have to pay in order to rejoin the PGA Tour after they left. Now, all litigation, all that stuff is done with. All that's gone. Greg Norman, CEO of LIV, was left out of this so-called merger, which is quite interesting. So that's kind of the quick synopsis here. I would love to hear you guys' initial thoughts on what you think about this. Jacob, let's go you first, and Bradley, we'll save you for after.
Freddie, I don't want to be that guy, but it's according to the PGA Tour, they're not calling it a merger. They're calling it a partnership creation of a new commercial entity. Mm-hmm. So it like you said, like you didn't say, I'm sorry, that it's not going to be the PGA Tour. It's not going to be LIV. It's going to be something else, something that's yet to be named or decided yet. That's going to be there. Initial thoughts, I don't like it, personally. It, like you said, it's supposed to be good for the game of golf, better for the game of golf. As we get all the same players probably back on the same, the best competition, best golf. But I don't really like it, just because the LIV guys chose money over golf, and and you got players like Rory McIlroy that defended the PGA Tour as much as he could, and then now he's just get like this. I mean, it's almost like if they would have known this would happen, the guys on the PGA Tour should have just taken the money. I mean, if this was going to all happen, who knows if this was part of LIV's plan whenever it started, was to eventually try to go back. We don't know, but very interesting. It'll be interesting to see all the details as they come out more and more. But my initial thought is I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. I did want to mention this off the top, and Jacob, you kind of led into this. They're creating a new entity. However, the PGA Tour, LIV, and the DP World Tour will all operate separately. So there will be no one thing with all the players, all the events, whatever. It's one company entity divided up, and they run their own separate things. Very important to keep in mind there. Bradley, the floor is yours.
I freaking love this. I mean, I was not with all the hate that all the LIV golfers got. Just as I'm a realist. If he told me I could quit my everyday job, go do the same job, but do it a third of the time, that I'm normally doing it, and I could make 4 or 5 times more money than I'm making right now, I would go do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't hesitate. Give me the pen, give me the paper, sign me up. But I do hate it for the PGA Tour players. I get it. The PGA, it's a it's a traditional, league with, a long history, and a lot of people turn down the money to, I guess, keep the tradition alive, that it's not about the money, that it's about the game. But I hate it for, the people that were on the fence. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel bad for Rory McIlroy. Um, not not a slightest. He's out here trashing people left and right for trying to provide for their families. You know what I mean? But for the people that were on the fence about it, thinking about going to get the money, or should I stay with the PGA, who's got a long history of being successful, or do I go with this new company who's, kind of risky? But yeah, I love it. I think we can all just take a back seat now. There's going to be no argument about, PGA LIV, blah, blah, blah. Everybody just gets to play golf. You can play golf wherever you want to play golf. There we go.
Okay. So when this first dropped, my initial reaction was I was very surprised. And I thought, wow, this is going to be great for the game of golf. Keep in mind the phrasing, the game of golf, the sport of playing golf will be better, because this opens up the door for the best players that live to come back to the PGA Tour if they want to and pay that substantial fine. We're finally going to get back again the Brooks Koepkas, on a regular basis, the Dustin Johnsons on a regular basis, Cam Smith, Phil, like the list goes on. However, the fact that it is funded by the Saudi Arabian government is something I cannot get behind. I simply can't. And obviously the U.S. government can't either, because they opened up an inquiry into it where they may actually block this from happening. Saudi Arabia has faced criticism for what's called sports washing, which means you invest heavily in sports to distract from human rights violations committed by the government. Now, I'm not getting into anything political here. All I know is that I don't like where the money's coming from, and that's the end of that. That's the reason why I didn't like golf, period. Or not golf. I love golf. That's the reason why I didn't like LIV to begin with, was because it was the Saudis, and I felt like all they were doing was just trying to dump money into something because oil is starting to wash up. I'm a purist when it comes to golf. I love the PGA Tour. They created the route for all these golfers to have a living, and then you up and ditch and leave. Didn't like it. Did not like it one bit. I honestly agreed with the PGA Tour stripping their tour card from them. I mean, you can't, leave a tour and then expect to come back and play whenever you want. To me, that I thought that was right. But we're talking about golf here. In the game of golf, this is going to be good. You're going to get the top end players back in the PGA Tour, hopefully. And even some LIV events, like the team events. I didn't watch any of it because I didn't think it was that entertaining, because I only knew 3 or 4 golfers, or 5 or 6, however many. Like, there's a lot on there that you just don't know. Pat Perez is one. But anyways, some of those elements coming to the PGA Tour might be good. It might be good for the younger generation. You look at the Dale Match Play, even though that's going bye-bye. Those are always fun to watch. So something other than stroke play is fun to watch. I'm very interested to see the fine details on this, though. What it will be called, like who's calling the shots. Like, I know that the PGA Tour commissioner will be the head of it, but who's really calling the shots? I don't know. I don't know. So it's one of them things where this is so new and so crazy. We've never seen anything like it before. So what do you guys think about the fact that they will both be separate and they'll still have LIV events and PGA Tour events, but be one and the same? What do you think about this? Because it seems like, to me, Saudi Arabia is just trying to buy the game of golf.
Jacob, you want to go ahead?
Freddie, to answer your question, my man, So there'll be a new board for this league. Y'all probably don't know him. I'm probably gonna butcher his name saying it. But Al Rumayyan, who is the majority owner of the Premier League club Newcastle, will be the chairman with Monahan as the chief executive. Just for you, FYI. What was your question again, Freddie?
I don't even remember at this point.
About the mixed events? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, how do you feel about them being two individual leagues and being able to play in both of them?
So my understanding is that like the DP World Tour will still be over in Europe or wherever it is, and then we'll have whatever LIV and PGA together here. Very interesting, Freddie. I like your point about the money. I think that's the big reason why this happened is money. Money is money, and money is money. So
well said.
Great point.
People like money. I feel like it's a big factor of why this happened. But to answer your question, it's not bad. I want to know more about the details and everything. But that's something like besides match play, the Dell match play, that we really haven't seen in the PGA Tour. Besides occasional Ryder Cup or even the Walker Cups whenever they had those. So it'll be exciting to see how it is. Like you said, it may bring more people to the game. We don't know. So I'm not either way. I kind of like it. There's a side of me that's like, oh, this is good golf every week. 1v1 versus everybody. But there's also side kind of like different. Sometimes change is not bad. So I'll be excited to see it going forward, how it is, and when it will take place. Bradley.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm pretty much in the same lane as you are. I think it's going to be great for the game of golf. We're going to have tons of tournaments going on simultaneously. I mean, you won't be able to not watch golf if you want to watch golf. I think they should stay three separate entities. I don't think they should just be one big league. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Excited to see definitely the challenges that come with it. How they approach this, and how they keep them, three separate leagues, but they're all funded by the same person. I think that's going to be a little difficult. And then how they approach who has the last say. You know what I mean? Like who's the head honcho, who's the chief, or however you want to say it. So I'm excited to see what comes in the following weeks, following months.
Yeah. I did want to mention that, and I kind of did at the beginning, but that Greg Norman will not be a part of this. I don't know if you remember way back in, I can't remember what it was, maybe at the very beginning of when LIV was a thing, Tiger said that two things would have to happen before they could merge or whatever. All the litigation would have to be over with, and Greg Norman would have to be out. And here we are, both of which are done, and here we are with this new deal. I saw this tweet. I thought it was funny. That LIV Golf really pulled the Michael Scott Paper Company right in front of our eyes.
That's funny.
Bradley, I figured you'd like that one.
That's good.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this works, if it even works. I mean, like I said, the Senate could block this in a heartbeat. They could open up an inquiry into this, which they already have, and come to the determination that Saudi Arabia may be trying to invade, some government issues in the PGA Tour. That's something to keep in mind as well. The U.S. is very strict on that stuff, so I would not be surprised if something like that happened.
Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that our government is, moral and of no wrongdoing. But did you know that the U.S.'s biggest exporter for petroleum comes from Saudi Arabia? So I think that would just be severely unethical If they did block this, I know the they're calling it blood money and all this, but let's just be real. All money's blood money. If the government's paying you, if Saudi Arabia is paying you, if I mean, let's just be real here. I'm not trying to get into some conspiracies or anything, but I'm a realist. I've worked for the government, and yeah, so that's my thoughts on that.
Speaking of morals, PGA Tour CEO during the entire live process spoke so negatively about it, just talking about how horrible it was, like where the money's coming. He mentioned 9/11 multiple times. And then in one of the first interviews afterwards, he said that there was nobody within the organization over in Saudi Arabia that even had anything to do with 9/11. So, like, what got in his head? Now, I know money. I get that. But you have to have some sort of integrity, or lack of integrity, rather, to just on a whim flip-flop like that. Like, that's what blew me away, was how he spoke so highly of Liv and the Saudis when a month ago he was talking so negative about it. That's what blows me away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of the biggest folds in sports history. That's for sure.
That is true. And we've never seen anything like this, by the way. We've never seen leagues from around the world merge together and do anything like this. Like, this is new. So maybe that's why the government's looking into it. McLovin, Jacob, anything else you would like to add?
Yes. So I got a question for you guys. Since it's all going to be funded by the same company, do y'all think there's a possibility of we see other European players from PGA Tour leave to go back to the DP World Tour or back overseas?
Freddie, you and
I don't think so. I personally don't think so, simply because I still think that the PGA Tour will have the highest purses, other than, obviously, actually Liv's purses aren't really that expensive. If you look into it, their signing bonus, if they win, then that money is just taken from the signing bonus. So there's no, massive purses of $400 million. It's part of their contract. So I think the PGA Tour will still continue. And that's the thing, like, the PGA Tour will still govern the purses for the PGA Tour for each tournament. European Tour, same way. And even though you may have all this Saudi money, the market in Europe for the European Tour isn't what it is in the PGA Tour. So the purses are going to be more over here. So I think they would stay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of just boils down to what you're just talking about is morals. You know what I mean? Like, we could see some people would just walk away from professional golf altogether. So there's those strong-headed, hard-charging people who want nothing to do with LIV. That would be, you know what I mean? That would be a bold move. If we've seen so many people feel so strongly against LIV. Well, put your money where your mouth is. You know what I mean? Go get a 9-to-5 and see how quickly your morals switch up. So,
yeah. The only other thing I had is, man, I feel bad for the smaller name players on the PGA Tour. I feel like whenever LIV happened, then they started to kind of get more chances and opportunities, and we've seen multiple players since this happened that have gotten their first win on PGA Tour. Some even they've been playing for 10, 15 years and they haven't won until this happened. So, it kind of makes me wonder about that. And, like you said, if it's going to be like event where you could pick a live event or a PGA Tour event, and then we could still see it's the chances of the smaller name players, like Lee Hodges, for example, from our hometown. He's not a big name on tour. He's had some very good finishes in past recency, but it kind of makes you wonder. I think I'm really just in the end just wanting to know more. I don't want to make a assumption either way too hard yet until I know just about all the details. Then I would feel more comfortable making my my final assumption about it. So you want to consider me on the fence about it? How about that?
I like it. I like it. I on that point about feeling sorry for some of the young golfers, report came out that one of those young golfers stood up in that players only meeting and said something to the commissioner of the PGA Tour, and Rory said, "Play better." That's my message to him. I mean, yeah, I feel bad that like you had this window, but at the end of the day, you're still a professional golfer. I mean, you still have to play at your peak level if you want to win. I mean, that's just how it is to me. But
I disagree there, Freddie, because I feel like on the PGA Tour, there's some golfers that their ceiling is not the same as others. And with these players, I say better players leaving for LIV, this kind of gave them more of opportunity to increase their ceiling and see results actually, instead of increasing their ceiling but still not seeing results because all those top names at the top. That's just my take though.
So you think it's like a help the rich get richer type of deal, Jacob?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see both sides of it. I see Jacob's side, Jay Monahan, whenever the whole LIV thing first kicked off, and they had that players meeting, he was pretty much during the beginning, pretty much just like telling all the PGA players, hey, if you stay with the PGA, we'll take care of you. We'll put some no-cut events out there. We'll raise our purses. And then now it's just like, hey, play better. It's just, yeah, I see what you mean, Jake. It's definitely a smack in the face. But I also see the flip side of the coin. You know what I mean? We got what Freddie said, this is a professional, organization. If in baseball, if you're a pitcher and you're getting rocked in the show, they're probably gonna send you down to the minors or put you on reassignment somewhere. So it sucks. But I do see both sides of it. So
yeah, I mean, and it does suck, especially because we know somebody that is one of those players. So, I kind of have a little bias to when that LIV thing happened. I was happy because I was like, hey, he's going to get a shot now.
Yeah.
But I also have to realize that it doesn't mean as much if the field is weaker. Like if you're a professional athlete, right, you want to beat the best, I feel like. So I think it might light some fire under some of them young guys. It's like, all right, now I really got to step up now or I'm going to lose my card. And then here they go, and they may actually play better. So it could go both sides there. But again, that's why you have the European Tour. That's why you have the PGA Tour Latin America. You have all these other tours now that you used to not have. So there used to not be any options. Now you got options. But I hear you, and I definitely understand and agree in some aspect of that for sure. So I think we're about up on time, fellas. This has been a great discussion, and I'm sure we're going to have many more as more news comes out of this and find details. Just like you said, Jacob, you're one of the people that's on the fence. There's a lot of people like you that's kind of questioning it. I'm kind of the same way. Don't really know what to think. My emotions switched from when I first heard about it to now. So it may switch again the more we find out. So
emotional roller coaster.
That's right. That's right. That's what sports is. That's what sports is. That's why we love it. That's why we love it here at the Fairway Files. This is the biggest news I think we could have ever stumbled upon here in our young journey on YouTube. So, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me, Jacob and Bradley. All of you viewers, thanks for watching. Go check out our U.S. Open vids, and then any more videos in the future. If you stumble upon this one, I appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you don't. I mean, it takes 2 seconds. It's free. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Don't cost you a thing.
It don't cost you a thing but 2 seconds, and who ain't got 2 seconds? So, guys, I appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.